All right. Well, let's go ahead and begin. So, one of the areas that I want to work with in our practice today is around the upper ribs and collarbones and this whole area in here. And we might, I don't know, maybe we'll dive into this more over the next couple of months. But I just want you to get it in touch with this space, the bones, but also, beneath the bones, and how this relates to the heart space as we move into the new year. And we have, we're still in winter, depending on what winter is like for you, um, depending on where you are geographically. But that's one of the areas I want to work with today. And so let's take a moment and kind of explore this just in your own body before we sit this morning. So just can you go ahead and find the little divot that's right above the top of your breastbone? Find that little divot. It's called the notch, sternal notch. Drop right below it. And that's the top of the breastbone. It's called the manubrium. And it's about 2 or 3 fingers width, that bone, which is part of the breastbone or sternum. There's a little cartilage that separates this bone, the manubrium, from the rest of the sternum. It's not a real significant, but it is significant in that sometimes when I ask you to lift this bone up, I want you to remember, I'm not asking you to engage in the back of your body to lift it. I'm asking you to go underneath this bone. You can sometimes it's really hard to get our awareness into these places. So sometimes I'll really tap on something to really bring my awareness into where is this place. And when I say I want you to lift under it, I mean on the inside, right? So you might sometimes be placing your felt sense there. But then you go from the top of that bone and you start walking out and you feel there's your collarbone. So the collarbones, there's a joint between the collarbone and this bone, the sternoclavicular joint. And you can just walk out your collarbone and feel the different shape of the collarbone. Feel how the bone, the part of the collarbone that's closest to the sternum, the first third, has a little different shape than the last third. Feel how it makes like there's a turn there. And so that's why sometimes I'll say, lift the inner or roll down the inner, depending on which way we're turning in a twist, for example. And then just the other piece of this is the ribs. So if we go, you come back towards where the collarbone comes to the sternum. And then you walk, just fall off the collarbone a little. And you won't even be able to get a space between the collarbone and the first rib. They're so overlap right there, right where that first rib comes in. But the first rib then is buried. It goes above the collarbone and comes across and around the back. So that first rib is quite high. That's why we always say the lungs, the apex of the lungs, are above the first rib. Okay, the lungs come up high inside there. I mean, not above the first rib. I mean, above the collarbone. The lungs can't be above the first rib. They're inside, of course. But anyway, these first rib one, and you might just kind of go, okay, these are all so close. Can I find, my second rib? And so you can kind of palpate there. So Once you get close down here, you go like below the collarbone and you start dropping in, and you'll probably find the bony ridges of ribs 2 and 3. Okay? Because I'm going to ask you at some point to lift these ribs up, to lift ribs 2, 3, for example, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So therefore, that's why I just want to bring your awareness into that space. And then we can remember again that the lungs themselves are above the diaphragm, right? So the diaphragm, which is at about, if you go to the bottom of your breastbone and you find the little bony xiphoid process, the little point at the bottom of the breastbone, and then you're going to be above that. Just go a little above that, because the bottom of the lungs themselves are at midway. It seems really high, but the diaphragm is right in that area. So the lungs themselves live in the rib cage above the diaphragm. All right. Okay, well, fine. I knew this, right? You're like, well, Lynn, we knew this. Okay. All right, very good. So that's just some territory for us to use in our practice this morning. But let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Let's go ahead, take a seat. You're welcome to close your eyes. To relax your shoulders. And I am so grateful for you to come to your mat this morning, to come to your practice. I just was remembering, I was talking to my son yesterday, who's not here. He's visiting a girlfriend of his. And I'll say, well, how is it going? How are you guys doing? Getting to know, one another, because she's very contemplative and academic, and he'll say, she says I don't reveal a lot about myself. And I say, oh, you might try just developing your meditation practice, your own contemplative practice, your own journaling practice, to allow yourself to get to know yourself better. So as you take your seat right now and you feel the support beneath you, and you lengthen your spine up towards the sky, and you drop into your breath. We use the breath to control the mind. So as you drop into your breathing, you're welcome to begin with your Ujjayi breath, the tone at the back of the throat. So you've got the tongue lightly touching behind the upper 2 teeth, a hollowness at the back of the throat, and a tone that comes down the throat that allows you to hear with the inner ear your breath. Ujjayi, also called the victorious breath, brings cohesion to the body. And in the beginning of the practice, we do a 1-to-1 ratio of the inhale to the exhale. And we've been working on making the Ujjayi smooth, making the inhale smooth, and the exhale smooth. And taking note of the pause that exists at the top of the inhale and the bottom of your exhale. And I'll share with you this morning David Whyte. The poem is called Start Close In. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing, close in. The step you don't want to take. Start with the ground you know, the pale ground beneath your feet, your own way to begin the conversation. Start with your own question. Give up on other people's questions. Don't let them smother something simple. To hear another's voice, follow your own voice. Wait until that voice becomes an intimate, private ear that can really listen to another. Start right now. Take a small step you can call your own. Don't follow someone else's heroics. Be humble and focused. Start close in. Don't mistake that other for your own. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing, close in. The step you don't want to take. And at the bottom of your next exhale, release any control on the breath. Join your hands together in Anjali Mudra. It's honoring your presence. And this morning we'll chant the sound of Om, and we'll sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. We'll sing that together. You're welcome to join me anyway, 3 times. So to begin, let's take a deep breath. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. With your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands. Lift your gaze. And let's practice a little Kalabhati Kriya, a little cleansing breath this morning. So again, this breath it's just a rapid exhale. I can set the pace. You're welcome to go at my pace and go at your own pace, whatever is working for you in this Kalabhati. To begin with, we'll take, in a moment, we'll go a full inhale and a complete exhale. And then it's just a partial inhale, like a third inhale. And then it's going to be the exhale out the nose, 30 or 40, usually it can be anywhere between 20 and 40 exhales. Okay? All right, team. And again, it's coming from the pumping right at the solar plexus, that quick, fast exhale. So you'll feel that happening. All right. So let's go ahead and take a deep inhale. And the exhale. Inhale, partial. Exhale completely. Take an inhale to suspend the breath. When you suspend the inhale, you might feel a little vacuum coming up and in. Relax though, relax on the inside. And then exhale completely. Partial inhale. Exhale completely. Inhale to suspend. Exhale completely. We'll take one more round. Partial inhale. Exhale completely. Inhale to suspend. And then exhaling whatever the body wants to do in regard to your breath. And then we're going to come up to standing. So we'll come up to standing. I'm just going to fix this a little bit. Okay. So as you come up to standing, go ahead and we're going to take another breathing practice. So if we'll step the feet just a little wider, soften the knees a little bit, and just begin to turn and let the arms move. Just taking your breath. All right. So we're going to do the short, fast exhale, out the mouth, like you're blowing out a candle. So it's a rapid. And we're going to add a pushing of the hands as we do it. So when you're ready, please join me. Five, four, three, two, one, and then you slowly let yourself come back to center. And then stepping the feet back to hip distance, we'll take 3 short inhales with the arms. So it'll be, I take my hands in fists. It's going to be a, on the exhale, it'll be out the mouth. I'll open up my hands, bend both my knees, and exhale out the mouth. That can be an audible exhale, letting go, releasing. All righty. So 3 short inhales. Here we go. This is the last one, and as you go down, you're going to stay down. Just letting the arms slow down. Great. And then we'll just inhale a little halfway. And then exhale, bow. Let's inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. And then exhale, bring the hands back in front of the heart. Inhale the arms wide, halfway. Exhale, bring the hands together, clasp the hands. Inhale, draw the hands toward you. Exhale, push them away. Inhale, lift the arms. Stay there for the exhale. Another deep inhale. And with your next exhale, release your arms. Inhale halfway. Exhale, hands come together. You change the clasp. Inhale, pull the hands towards you. Exhale, push them away. Inhale, lift the arms. Lift the top of the breastbone. Lift ribs 1, 2. And your next exhale, release the arms. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more. Inhale halfway. Exhale, you bring the hands together back to your original clasp. The inhale, the hands come in. The exhale, we press and open. Inhale, lift the arms. Stay there for the exhale. Your next inhale, can you lift ribs 1, 2, 3? And then exhale, release the arms. Pressing out the heel of the hand, draw the fingernails back. One more time to inhale out, go the arms. The exhale, the hands come in, we change the clasp. The inhale, elbows wide. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, staying. Inhale, top of the breastbone, the ribs, roll them up. And your exhale, arms out, heel of the hand, the fingernails back. And then letting the arms dangle. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms halfway this time. Exhale, bring the hands into Anjali Mudra. Inhale in Anjali Mudra. Exhale, bend both knees, reach the hands forward, chair pose. Take the hands shoulder width. Now, before lifting the arms, can you lift the ribs? Roll the ribs up. Inhale, lift the arms up. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, release the hands. Great. Let's grab your blocks and bring them to the top of your mat. So standing in front of that, just having your mat out behind you. Here we go. Hands in front of the heart, Anjali Mudra. When you bring the hands in front of the heart, when you bring them in, take a moment. Just take a moment to feel where's the weight in your feet. You're welcome to close the eyes. Just allow yourself to drop more in. We could go back and remember David White's words about start close in. And then releasing your arms, opening your eyes. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale in your chair. Exhale, bowing forward. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. So when you go halfway, can you lift the top of the breastbone? Can you roll the ribs up? Exhale, step the right foot back for a low lunge, but we're going to keep the hands down. We've got the back leg is lifted up in this lunge. So you could be using your Ujjayi. And just noticing here now, where's your head? Where's the base of the neck? And just noticing what is the position of the top of the breastbone. Let's inhale, step forward. Exhale, take the left leg back. Lengthening out through the crown of the skull, balancing the weight in the hips. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, bow, Uttanasana. So on Uttanasana, letting the top of the breastbone turn more in and down. Letting the ribs even turn and roll more in and down towards the navel. And then inhale, halfway up, you might use your blocks. Inhale, now lift the top of the breastbone, roll ribs 1 and 2 up. Exhale, the opposite, bowing forward, Uttanasana again. Letting the top of the breastbone, ribs 1, 2, rolling down towards the navel. One more time, there's Ardha Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. And the exhale, forward fold all the way to Uttanasana. The next inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands back in front of your heart. Just noticing as you drop back with the hands in front of the heart, the eyes can be closed again. Can you feel the connection to the earth through the heels, through your footprints, and then release your arms. Can you have one of your blankets nearby? Because we're gonna go back through, but we're gonna add on a low lunge with the back knee down. I'm just gonna sit my blanket off to one side, or I might put it on my mat, something like that, for that step back with a little cushion for the back knee. Okay? So hands back in front of the heart. Start close in. Getting to know, again, that your own inner voice. And then inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, chair. Inhale in your chair pose. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lifting top of the breastbone. Exhale, take the right foot back. Let's bring the back knee down to the padded, to the blanket. And let's take our blocks on the tallest setting and draw them back. So as you release through the top of the middle of the right thigh, towards the lower right thigh. And then can you travel up towards, again, top of the breastbone, ribs 1, 2, can you roll them up? Take another deep inhale, and then we'll exhale. Move the blocks forward. Tuck the back toes. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, left leg back. Bring the back knee down. Bring the blocks in, back. Pull them back. With the exhale, can you soften through the middle of the left thigh towards the lower left thigh? And then come up to ribs, the top of the breastbone to the ribs, to a lifting up, under, inside the rib cage. Exhale, press away. Tuck the back toes. Inhale, lift the back leg. Exhale, step forward, Uttanasana. Let's inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale in your chair. Exhale, bowing forward. Inhale, straighten the legs. And exhale, the turning in. So letting the top of the breastbone roll in and down. Also the ribs rolling in towards the navel. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, let's step the right foot back. we're going to inhale to the upright lunge. Inhale the arms wide. Exhale, bowing forward. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, step the left leg back. When you're ready, inhale, upright. What happens when you press down into the front heel? What does that do with the ability for you to lift up through the top of the rib cage, the top of the breastbone? And then we'll inhale the arms out. Exhale, bow. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, folding in again, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. And then releasing your arms, you can move your blanket out of the way. Take a wide stance. We'll go to the right first. So we're going to go towards warrior two. So we'll turn your right foot out, your left foot in. I'll mirror you in this one. And so here we go. Inhale the arms wide. And exhale to warrior two. And reaching the top of the left lung, like as if you could reach it all the way to the left hand. And then let's release the back arm, turn the front palm up to the sky, and inhale to a rising warrior. Your next exhale, we're going towards side angle. You're going to release that front arm, come a little out of the front hip, and then bring yourself to Parsvakonasana, side angle. Inhale back to warrior two. And then turn the palms up to the sky. Inhale, lift the arms, straighten the front leg, and we'll spin the feet to go the other direction. Great. So when you're ready, inhale, take the arms wide, and exhale to warrior two on the second side. Connect to the breath. Yeah. Can you get a sense of the right upper lobe of the lung? Remember, it's way up high above the collarbone, as if that could reach all the way to the right hand. Beautiful. This is it, the strength. So relax the back arm. And then inhale, lift the front arm up to a rising warrior. And then as you exhale back to towards side angle, you have to come up out of that hip joint a little. Then the forearm can come down, and you're taking just a little modified version of side angle, Parsvakonasana. Lifting those lower right ribs up to the sky, lifting from the right side of the pelvis to the back right heel. Lengthen through that skyward side of your body. Open it up. And then with your next inhale, rise back up to warrior two again. And then we'll turn the palms to the sky. Let's inhale, lift the arms, make the feet parallel. Bring the hands down in front of the heart. If you know you need blocks for a wide-legged forward fold, then you'll want to put your blocks there because that's where we're going, a wide-legged forward fold. And we'll start though, once you've got your blocks in place, let's come back to standing, take the hands up on the hips. So drop your felt sense into the top of the breastbone. Lift the top of the breastbone. Roll ribs 1 and 2 up to begin. And then exhale, keep that lift as you bow forward. Once the hamstrings say, that's it, then release your hands to the floor or your blocks. Lengthen out through the crown of the skull. We're going to take a twist. So let's have to begin, I like to have my wrists under my shoulders, both legs straight. And then let's take your right hand. If you're on blocks, move the block with you. Take the right hand into that space kind of under the sternum. Spine is long. Left hand can start up on the hip. Let's lengthen out through the crown of the skull and then rotate and twist towards your left. Strongly reaching into the hand that's either rooted on the floor or the block. And either the left hand can stay on the hip or you can reach it to the sky. Exhale, let's turn back towards the ground. Let's switch the hands. Inhale, lengthening forward. Right hand can come up on the hip. And then with your next exhale, reach down into the ground to help you turn and open. So that the inner right collarbone, can you roll it up? The inner right collarbone lifts up. Exhale, come back to center. Bow forward. So now you're turning more inward. You might be walking the hands back to that space between the feet. And then we'll walk the hands back to their original starting spot. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop the feet together and come down to the knees. I want to take an upper back opener. So if you'll take your blocks or something like this end to end, for example, or you could have just more blankets, a rolled up blanket or something. But if I'm using my blocks, I'm going to take a blanket, fold it in half lengthwise to pad my blocks, like that. And I could either take, if I have a third block, I'm going to have that available, or I might take another blanket and fold it into like thirds or so. So there'll be that height. I'll have that just off to my side for a moment. And I'm going to come around to bring my upper back on my block stack. So I've got my shoulder blades are on these blocks. I'm going to pick up my hips and scoot this second blanket under my hips. Take my hands behind my head, elbows toward each other. And I want my shoulder blades, the lower tip, definitely up on those blocks, okay? not towards your feet. Hands are behind the head. I can hold my head so the chin can be toward my chest. And then with the next exhale, I'm going to start to lift top of the breastbone. I'm taking my time. I'm not in a hurry. I might have my hands behind my head the whole time, depending on, any neck issues that I might have. Some of you, you'll want the hands behind the head. I'm still thinking about lifting top of the breastbone, rolling ribs, 1, 2, up, up. And if I don't need to support my head, I might let go of it and take my arms, palms toward the sky. And I can have my hands about as wide as my yoga mat. Again, I could have my hands behind my head, or if my neck is all right in this position, I might just have my hands free. And then if my hands are free, I'm going to take them back, put them behind my head, elbows close in. All of us can then lift the head back up toward the chest. And then you're welcome to either straighten one leg and straighten the other, and then bring yourself up to sitting. All right, great. Okay, and then we'll come over towards all fours. And I move my blankets out of the way. Take my blocks so they can be just back of my mat, and take downward facing dog or puppy pose. Strongly reaching from the outer shoulder blades to the hands, to the index finger knuckle. Lengthening the rib cage toward the pelvis. And then if I'm in downward dog, I'm going to walk my hands towards my feet. If you're in puppy, you're going to go ahead and bring yourself up to standing. All of us come all the way up to standing. And the hands back in front of the heart. To take a moment just to notice, with the eyes closed, just noticing, how are you doing? How are you feeling connected on the inside? Right now, how is it different from the beginning? And then we'll release the arms. And I want to take this to a little series. And let me show you what the series will look like, so you can decide if this is something you want to, try it all. You might. So let me show you what it'll look like. It'll be, the first part is going to be setting up for warrior one, where the pelvis is pointing straight towards the short end of your mat. So there'll be warrior one. And then we're gonna exhale towards, and this might be a shorter stance. So I might be, as I bow forward, I'm gonna step my back foot in a little to come to Parsvottanasana. That turning in. After being there for a little bit, we'll lift halfway. I'm going to shift my blocks forward, tall, and launch myself up towards half moon, which we've been working on. We worked on a lot last year. And then we'll come back down from that. We'll come back to Parsvo. You can bring the blocks with you. And then pressing into the front foot and coming forward. So that's what it's going to look like. You'll be lingering in each spot though, okay? Any questions? All right, I'll talk you through it. So here we go. We're gonna step your, let's step your right foot back. Gonna step your right foot back. You've got the pelvis pointing towards the short end of the mat. This stance is quite long, longer than you would think. The back foot has a slight turnout. Let's inhale, lift both arms. And exhale to warrior one. So you're lifting at the top of the breastbone, rolling ribs 1 and 2 up. The gaze to wherever's comfortable. Inhale, straighten the front leg, take the arms wide. Exhale, bow forward, Parsvottanasana. As you bow forward, bring the blocks back, take a small step forward, and come turning inward. So now the top of the breastbone turns down. The ribs turn in and down. And then if you push off the back foot and then move the blocks tall. So again, the blocks need to be at least a foot, 10 to 12 inches away from you. And you're gonna shift the weight onto the standing leg and open yourself up towards half moon. Then bend the front knee, bring the hand down, back foot down. You can draw the blocks back again, come back to Parsvottanasana. Now let's inhale halfway up. Stay there for the exhale. And then on the inhale, reach down into the front leg, come all the way up, and step back, Tadasana. And if anybody wants to ask a question before we do the second side, you're welcome to ask it. Okay. Otherwise, here we go. Step the other foot back. So you're going to take a warrior one stance. The back foot has a slight turnout. The feet are hip distance wide. Inhale, lift both arms. You can start with the legs straight. And then exhale, you bring the front shin forward a little. And then lift at the top of the breastbone, lift ribs 1, 2, take the gaze wherever's comfortable for you. Great. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, take the arms wide. You're going to exhale, bow forward to Parsvottanasana. Both legs are straight, so you might need the blocks to be closer. And here there's a turning in. The top of the breastbone turns down. You're balancing the weight in the hips. Ribs 1, 2, turn in and down. How much can you let that top of the breastbone and those ribs turn in towards the navel? Then you're going to inhale yourself halfway. You can move your blocks a little away from you. And then you're going to step the back foot forward slightly and take a little launch there. Is the front foot pointed straight ahead, not turned out? There you go. You're reaching so strongly in that standing leg. And then from the core of the pelvis, reach all the way out the lifted foot. All that work that you've been doing this past year. Here, where's the base of the skull? Where's the back of the head? That's it, Katie, drawing that, you got it. And then you're gonna bend the front knee, begin to bring your back leg down. Can you go back to Parsvo? Pull the blocks back, pull the hands back. Stay one more full breath, full inhale, complete exhale. So that on your next inhale, you'll lift yourself halfway, take the arms wide. And then on the inhale, firmly reach into the front leg to help you to rise all the way up. And then step forward and stand in Tadasana. You could take the hands in Anjali Mudra. Allow your attention to drop in. And then we'll release that. Let's come down to the ground. And we're going to set up for a bridge pose. In setting up for this bridge, can you take one of your blankets, so we have a little more height, can you take one of the blankets and fold it in half lengthwise and put that towards the top of your mat? And if you have a strap available, take your strap and make a loop in the strap. That's probably about the width of the upper arm bones, probably about that width. So that there's your loop. And can you know where your blocks are? We're going to do a supported bridge. So that when you come down, you're going to take both shoulders on top of the blanket. Base of the C7 is on the blanket. The rest of the neck is free. Press into both feet to lift the pelvis. There's one block on the lowest setting, under the bony pelvis. And maybe you feel, well, up for doing one more. It really, I don't want this to be an opening that's at the lower back, but an opening that's at the front of the hip joint. So if you feel like you actually arched the low back more, then you might not want to go with 2 blocks. Then the strap is going past my blocks, between my blocks and my feet. I'm going to put my hands in it so that when my hands are inside the loop, I can have palms facing each other. I can press out and find a little easier to lift at the top of my breastbone and to lift those ribs, 1, 2, rolling them up towards the throat. So you might stay here in the supported bridge. Some of you might lift the legs, the knees, and then the legs vertically for just a modified shoulder stand. We don't get a lot of verticality here, but we get some. And then I'm going to bend the knees. If the legs are up, bring the feet to the ground. Remove the hands out of the strap. If I have 2 blocks, I'm going to go ahead and remove 1. And then I'm going to lift the pelvis off the last block, but walk towards my head so that I can put my pelvis on that blanket that was under my shoulders and just take a moment to rest here. The knees are bent, the feet are still on the floor. All right. And then let's go ahead and roll to one side. Use the arms to push yourself up. And let's take a twist. Let's take Marichyasana 3. So you might sit on that blanket that was under the head. And if we take right leg straight, left knee bent, and so you're going to take your left arm behind you, and the right hand is either at the outer knee, in the crook of the elbow, or you take the elbow all the way to the outer knee. And in a twist, can you kind of feel how, if you're turning towards your left right now, that the inner left collarbone can roll up and the inner right collarbone rolls down. Let's turn just the gaze back towards the big toe of the straight leg. And then let's exhale, release. Let's switch sides. So your right hand behind, if you're turning, turn towards the bent knee, hand, inner elbow, outer elbow, whatever is right. You're welcome to take the gaze just the gaze back to look at the big toe of the straight leg, because we've got the thoracic spine turning towards the bent knee. And when we take the gaze back, we're just taking the cervical spine and doing a twist there, the opposite direction. All right, and then we're gonna exhale and come back to center. Let's take both legs straight. Just for a moment, Dandasana. Okay, so we're going to come down to Shavasana, and then we're going to come back up to pranayama and sitting. So let's take a Shavasana that you can make whatever shape you like for your Shavasana. I still kind of like to have a patio that goes under the backs of my legs. And I like to have a blanket to cover myself with because of this season. So whatever is good for you today, take that. Coming down to the ground. Allowing your body to release, to relax, to surrender. To remember. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing. Close in. Start with the ground. You know, the pale ground beneath your feet. Your own way to begin the conversation. Start with your own question. Give up on other people's questions. Don't let them smother something simple. To hear another's voice, follow your own voice. Wait until that voice becomes an intimate, private ear that can really listen to another. Start right now. Take a small step you can call your own. Don't follow someone else's heroics. Be humble and focused. Don't mistake that other for your own. Start close in. allowing your breath to deepen. And making a mindful transition to one side. And back up to a comfortable seat where we'll practice Nadi Shodhana. Once you're back up in a comfortable seat, you can take the right hand and bring it up so that you've got the thumb and then the ring and pinky finger just below the bony cartilage of the nose. And go ahead and take an inhale through both nostrils and an exhale out both nostrils. And then you'll close the right nostril, inhale left. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. And then keep going at your own pace. The next time that you exhale out the left, you can go ahead and release your pranayama. And join your hands together in Anjali Mudra. course, if you're feeling you have the time to continue to sit and meditate, please feel free to do that. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Then
Yes.
I have a question.